back to Open Your Eyes, and joining us for our first conversation, Shelly-Ann Solomon. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
And I am so happy you're here. I think in Belize, I believe, if I'm not correct, about 70% of our private businesses are MSMEs and mom and pop shops and small businesses and up and coming entrepreneurs. But during COVID, this band of entrepreneurship kind of just came up because people were losing jobs and they were trying to figure it out. Yes. However, I don't even want to say post-COVID, but just post-pandemic itself, a lot of that kind of dwindled down, or other people realized they couldn't retain some of those those businesses, So what do you think was a mistake that was made during that time?
Well, first I'll talk about the reason.
Yeah.
We were confined.
Yeah.
So the number one option that we explored would be being online. So everybody jumped online because survival. Right? We had to survive. We have bills to pay. So everybody jumped online. And some people took a little longer than others. But it's not a comfortable thing to do. So once that freedom to move and go back into the place of work and into physical spaces became accessible again, people went back to what was known, what was normal, and what was comfortable. Also, building a business online is not the same as working in a physical space.
Very true.
So which would you say is easier for persons to start, an online business or a physical location business?
Well, it would depend on what type of business it is. But I am in the online space, and I use the digital ecosystem to earn income. So I will tell people it's quite easy and it's cheap to start an online business. Well, not cheap, but cheaper to start an online business than a brick and mortar. I always say to entrepreneurs, you have to look at your resources. A brick and mortar requires you to have a location. You have to outfit that location, and then you have to have staff. An online business requires you to get online, turn on a camera, start speaking, and start showcasing what you have. You can do that with almost no money, right? But it's not easy. Right? It's easier.
So how do you build revenue off of something like that?
Well, you have to put together a revenue funnel. You have to advertise to your ideal client. You have to get very good at knowing who your ideal client is, speaking directly to their needs, their aspirations, their desires, and their fears. And then you build a community around your brand message and your product. So you are going to attract people who want exactly what you are selling. And you build a community around that. Once you have a community of people who want what you sell, sales.
Yeah.
Definitely. They're going to go with that.
But it doesn't stop there. Once you get the people who are interested in what, you have to create a funnel to move them from, hey, I'm Shelly, to let me swipe my card. So that's where we have to take them through the customer journey and also through your sales funnel. So I'm saying it's easier, but it's not necessarily easy because there are digital infrastructure that you have to set up.
I love that because I think a lot of people jump on online business because they hear cheaper. And I think what comes behind that now is how do you actually get that to work for you? So tell me, though, because I've seen a lot of business. I mean, if we look around, you've seen a lot of people go online. I mean, I get notifications sometimes from my friends on social media. They just say, man, like this, come and like it. And, I'll join my page. And, you support them. You buy once, you buy twice. Before you go back, the page is dormant. What do you think are some of the challenges, or why do you think these persons are not making it in the online platform, even though it's a cheaper alternative?
Well, one, they don't understand how the platform works. They don't understand the monetization aspect of it. I always tell people, like, setting up a page, telling people to like the page and DM me for information, that does not create the environment for a successful business. What creates the environment for a successful business is strategy and systems. You have to standardize just as any other business. The principles remain. You're just doing it using the digital space. You have to create an infrastructure that, as I said before, gets people into your space, and we have to do the same strategy as any other business. You have to get a lot of people to see you. And as you go down the funnel, it gets narrower, which means less people. Lots of people think if I just post on social media, everybody is going to see it and some people are going to buy. No, the social media platforms are not pushing out our organic content as it did before. So we have to shift our mindset from thinking that all of these social media platforms is just going to push out your content and I'm going to become a millionaire. No, you have to work for that.
That is so beautiful and key. And I'm happy that you said that, Miss Shelly-Ann, because we even have larger businesses that sometimes would just post on their website or just post to just their own social media without maybe doing something like a sponsorship or saying, I want it to this guy, so, and those things don't really move. Sometimes you look at big organizations and there's not much going on with that.
I think in Belize, though, we have a very Facebook business buy and sell culture. And I wanted to allude to one of the reasons why you're here. As somebody that has come out from a different country and you've spoken globally about business strategies, how are you able to present and create these sort of seminar pockets in different countries with different cultures and ways of thinking?
We are Caribbean, and our cultures are very similar.
Very similar.
So, and we have some of the same mindset beliefs that we need to break. And we also have some of the barriers, the same barriers that we need to burst through. So once I start speaking to people around, not just in the Caribbean, but also the diaspora, and we also go into Africa, you see that there are barriers. So it's not really about Caribbean. I always say we are Caribbean and we are capable. Once we figure out how to burst through the barriers, we're going to go. I'm in multiple countries. I think we are 29 now, right, across 14 markets. But what I'm saying is if we get the mindset right and we understand how to break through the barriers and we don't use our Caribbean culture like we are incapacitated by it, but we use it as something that's unique, as special. So we combine our Caribbean culture with international or global standards. We are now pushing ourselves forward with a new, unique, competitive advantage. So we make ourselves attractive. Once I teach my community this, they step out with understanding that Caribbean doesn't mean that we are incapable. Caribbean means that we are special. We collaborate, we congratulate, we celebrate, and we expand. But we have to accelerate with strategy and information. Once you get the information, it really doesn't matter what country you're from.
Because I find that even though we are CARICOM and we're a Caribbean community and everything, we just recently had the, where we were opening up certain borders for certain Caribbean countries to come into Belize and work, and of course we can go to those countries and work. It's very exciting. I don't look for try to figure out how I move, right? It's important to go to new places and experience new things. But for us that perhaps would like to venture into one of these countries, or those countries would like to venture here and start a business, how would you do that in a space that you might not know?
Well, first you have to research. It always starts with knowing, with information, with clarity. Know what's the culture, know what are the restrictions, know what are the benefits, the disadvantages of being there, and understand how you fit in. What will you be bringing to that country or that nation, and what will you be receiving? It has to be a win-win. All right, so don't just jump into something. People like to say leap. I like to say learn and then leap.
Yeah, you have to know what you get into.
So explore.
So you can move in a more informed position.
And of course, when you get there, you're going to learn things that you didn't know before. So prepare for that as well. So planning is one thing, but preparation is another thing, right?
You mentioned that you were also in Africa, which I think is very impressive, and I think the viewers, they should really take this opportunity to be able to reach out to Miss Shelly-Ann, because a mentor is very important, especially when it comes to business. But in looking at the African scenario, looking at the Caribbean scenario, would you say that there are similarities as well in terms of how persons handle business and the ideas, or that kind of like hunger for business? Do you find it's the same?
I would not say that the Caribbean and the African clients, the clients that I have from the African continent, there's a hunger. I would say that there's an interest. I would say that we are very interested. However, we have reservations. We have fears.
These are the Caribbean you speak
Caribbean, and
African.
Africa.
Okay, perfect.
Right? So we're not, I always tell people talk about different countries. When we come together and we have conversations, you really realize there's not much difference between us, There are some cultural differences and some mindset differences. But when we come together as entrepreneurs, we want the same things. We want to build a business. We don't want burnout. We don't want our health to be at risk, our family to be dismantled, and we want to build legacy. So we connect on that. But with for me, dealing with my African sisters, I find them to be very respectful, and they take action. But we do have similarities with regards to our mindset. Thinking that we are capable. We know we are educated. We know that we are skilled. We know what we are talented. We know that we have much to bring to the world, but we are not certain that the world will receive us. Yes. So again, I tell them, bring your African culture and tie it in with international standards and go and blow the minds of the world. And I say the same to our Caribbean women. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. Tie your culture to the world expectations or standards, and then step out. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Yes, there are going to be critics and naysayers and people who will try to block you, but you have to develop the mindset that I am going to do this. I deserve a spot here. I deserve to be here. I am intelligent. I am educated. I am capable, and I have much to bring. And to do that, I have to step past all of those negative stumbling blocks, negative people, negative situations, things that set up to block us. We have to make up our minds to step past it and just go out and do it.
I think that's one of the hardest parts, though. It really is, because you could have an idea and you can have all of these different mindsets of business, and you can have the education and everything, but that imposter syndrome is real deep, and you don't know how to push beyond certain barriers. It's not.
I love that.
Real.
Is it real, or is it something that we're telling ourselves?
Because if you are speaking here on television and you're doing this every single day, you know how to do this, right?
Yeah.
If someone asks you to teach them to do it, are you an imposter?
No.
But why do we feel like imposters? If we are speaking every day, you have the information. Now, if you have the resources, you have the interest, and you have the expertise, and you have clients who want what you offer, how are you an imposter? We tell ourselves that because we're listening to the noise around us.
Market,
If you're doing it every day, and you're having success doing it, and I can help that client turn that idea into a physical business, then as a coach, I could never be an imposter. If I could take people from 0 to 7 figures, I could never be an imposter. If I can take you from $2,000 to $20,000 a month, I'm not an imposter. We tell ourselves that because we are aspiring to something greater than what people see. So we always think to get to our next step, we may not be equipped, but you are, because you're doing it. So we have to shift that mindset from thinking that we are imposters. How are you an imposter if you are equipped and experienced doing something?
I think we have a lot of people signing up to join you right now. That was so powerful.
No, I was
so
there
powerful.
just like, yes.
I'm happy. Yeah, she's signing up today. And this is why it's so important to have a mentor.
Yes.
Because sometimes while we know these things, while we're built like, as such, we don't remember. When the pressures of everything, I say, you want to crumble underneath that. And this is where a mentor, a consultant, a business strategist comes in to be able to assist you and take you through that.
I love that, because every time somebody would read my biography or something, like if I'm giving a presentation, I'm just like, that person sounds really cool. Oh, right, I'm that person.
Exactly.
I love that. Yes.
But Shelly-Ann,
we have to get into that mode of celebrating ourselves. We don't like to celebrate ourselves.
Yeah.
That's a training. That's something that we were taught to do. Not
Correct.
shrink, not be too loud, not to shine too bright.
Correct.
Succeed but not too big. Expand but not too wide. Go out but not too far. Just keep in your little corner.
Everybody wants to fit in that little box, but then what is your X factor?
I want to get into your lives that you're doing.
I've been doing a series of training to lead the community to this point, which is the point of sales. A lot of people get fearful to sell, so I've been doing the human side of entrepreneurship. I also did Confuse to Clarity. So if you're confused, we did that for 21 days, and now we're here for holiday sales domination, so that you can hit your end of year goal. You don't have to give up. This is the final push. This is the place where you pull everything out of you, but You can pull all of it out of you, all the discipline, all the resilience, all the tenacity, but if you don't have strategy, you will still flop. I'm going to be teaching them how to actually make the sale.
You said something when you were sharing that,
Yes, that's right.
if I could take somebody from 0 to 2,000, or I could take someone from 2,000 to 20,000, then I would have done something great. And I think that is where persons should really start to come in, because at the back of it, yes, we want to be able to do things right and we want to think, but we all start a business, we all get it because we want to earn income.
Yeah.
All right? And so one of the things that Miss Shelly-Ann can bring to the table is that she can actually help you to grow that income.
Well, I'm the woman that started with $40 and turned that into 7 figures. So
Did you
can't
hear that?
tell me that it's
From
not
$40 into 7 figures. And like she said, if it's something that she can do, she can definitely show you how to do that.
Conditions for success has to be right. You have to have the mindset, you have to have the support system. My husband is a great support system to me, and I always tell people having a spouse or a partner or family members that's supportive is part of the success strategy.
Indeed.
But if you want help to set the systems up, then they can contact me and I will walk them through as to how to physically set up the infrastructure, because as I said, the success is available. It's very available, it's very doable, but not without knowing what's happening in the back end. So for social media, most people look at the front stage, but there's an entire backstage operation that's taking place. There is a system. So to be successful on social media, just remember this. Social media, all of these platforms are businesses.
Yes.
They are not there to make you rich. So keep that mindset away, far away, that you're going to jump on Facebook and Facebook is going to push your business and make you famous. Or TikTok or any platform. Those are businesses. They are there to make money. You serve a purpose.
Miss Shelly-Ann is going to be live. It's all going to be business strategies, holiday sales, domination training. Thank you so much for joining us this morning,
welcome. Thank you
Shelly-Ann.
for having me.
And
It was
best
a
of luck. It was a
pleasure.
great conversation.